Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Nihilist Wrestling episode 16. I am your host, Ash Manson. It's been a little under 2 weeks since our last episode. I apologize for that. I know we're a really small channel here, and people aren't exactly waiting with bated breath on our next episode, but hey, this podcast / video series is a passion project for me and an exercise in discipline, so I'm very happy to be back with you here today. So much has happened since last time I got on camera and spoke to you guys. We have had AEW, New Japan, Forbidden Door. We have had Money in the Bank. We have had John Cena announcing his upcoming retirement from WWE. We've had CM Punk screw over Drew McIntyre again. We have had Mommy returning to WWE. We've had Joe Hendry crashing NXT, along with other TNA personnel regularly showing up in NXT on a regular basis. That is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much that we're going to get into today. I know I'm not going to be able to hit everything, so let's get right to it with AEW. I was saying for weeks that I was looking forward to AEW Forbidden Door, but I was also looking forward to AEW Forbidden Door being over with. And if you did not watch any of my previous episodes, what I mean by that is that AEW Forbidden Door feels like such a one-off, such a break in continuity, where AEW kind of needs to take a break from some of the more longer-term programs that they're doing, and then just build a whole bunch of one-time programs between AEW stars and New Japan Wrestling stars. You can see my cat Zoe just made a minor cameo, so enjoy that. But yeah, I very much enjoyed Forbidden Door. I thought it was a really good show. It was basically what I expected it to be. It was a lot of good wrestling. I thought that Stephanie Vaquer looked incredible in her match with Mercedes Moné, and apparently WWE agrees with me because they somehow convinced her to break contractual obligations, or at least not fulfill her remaining booked dates with both New Japan Pro Wrestling and CMLL, and it looks like she is NXT bound. So very strong showing for her. I thought Hiromu Takahashi kind of jumps off your television screen. But my favorite match of Forbidden Door had to be the AEW exclusive main event. I know Will Ospreay was a New Japan Pro Wrestling guy up until recently, but it was AEW's Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship. And the reason I liked that match so much is it definitely told a story. The story going in was like Swerve didn't think that Will Ospreay was a killer. He didn't think he was enough of a killer to succeed at the highest level. And like throughout the match, like Swerve was more or less proven to be correct. Like Will Ospreay didn't want to hit him with that Tiger Driver that he injured Bryan Danielson with. He was hesitant to pull the trigger, whereas Swerve had that killer instinct, not just in ring, but like on the mic beforehand. He was antagonizing Will Ospreay, who was his friend, just to get in his head to weaken him for the match. They put over Swerve excellently in that match, and Will Ospreay, of course, he never has a bad match. The man is one of, if not the greatest active wrestler today. They made their world champion look excellent. But everything that they've done since Forbidden Door, I think, has also been incredible. Some of the more notable things that we're going to talk about is the Dynamite right after Forbidden Door. You had MJF come out and first put over Daniel Garcia, but then betray him at the end of the show to turn back heel. Now, like, like my wife, who's only like a casual watcher, she only really watches wrestling because I have it on. But she'll watch and she'll form opinions and all that. And she has always said that MJF just strikes her more as a natural heel. She likes him a lot more as a heel, and I think that's like a great like barometer as to what a casual fan might think. Obviously, MJF has a ton of charisma. When he actually gets his story out there, he's actually a pretty sympathetic babyface. But there's no denying that the man is a natural heel. Like, he's willing to go scorched earth when he's a heel. And just a quick little tangent. I know some people are clamoring for Cody Rhodes to go heel. And Cody Rhodes has said, like, listen, you don't know what you're asking for when you're asking me to go heel. Because to me, going heel is to go. And that's where I picked up the term from, scorched earth. That's the kind of heel MJF is. If we ever see Cody Rhodes turn heel, he's going to go full Homelander. I know that it could potentially mess up any future program between MJF and Adam Cole. But they already kind of had what seemed to be a little bit of a blow-off with MJF just quickly beating the crap out of Cole. And Adam Cole hasn't been seen since. Listen, no matter what, like, that entire program did not turn out as expected just because of the injuries. Like, it was such a hot run, like the two of them together, better than you, baby, and all that. They were so insanely over. So when Adam Cole was revealed to be the devil, it should have like culminated in one of the most epic feuds in pro wrestling history, but it just didn't work out because they were both injured. So I don't really think that we can compromise MJF's future anymore to like continue that story arc with Adam Cole, because it's just like it just didn't work out the way it should, and that's a tragedy. But we're moving on, and MJF is so much better as a heel, and it looks like he's building for a match with Daniel Garcia, and I think like Daniel Garcia is, of course, like an incredible talent and all that. He's an incredible in-ring competitor. He's pretty decent on the mic. People like him, especially like that little dance he does. I wouldn't dare try to do it myself. But I think it's especially good for Daniel Garcia because I think like when Daniel Garcia first signed in AEW, he got like basically shoehorned right into the main event for no other reason than he was just a very good wrestler. And along the way, like you've like he's been through things on camera, and he's endeared himself to the audience. He's been a heel with the Jericho Appreciation Society. More recently, he's been a babyface and all that. But I think if like you're really going to take babyface Daniel Garcia to the next level, you absolutely pair him with like a dastardly heel like MJF, and I think that's absolutely perfect for him. Another like I think it's also excellent going back to the Swerve versus Ospreay match. They made it very clear that Swerve is not going to be that typical smiling babyface. And I say it all the time. Wrestling fans don't like that. Swerve got popular because he was a dark and twisted motherfucker. And if he wishes to remain popular and not shed all the things that like endeared us to him to begin with, even though he's a babyface, he needs to remain like a little messed up in the head. So that's why I was so happy again with that Swerve and Ospreay match. But then so it looks like right now we're looking at MJF versus Daniel Garcia sometime in the near future. We set up Bryan Danielson, who won the Owen Hart Cup, versus Swerve Strickland, which will probably be the main event at All In Wembley. And I know this is Bryan Danielson's last year in professional wrestling, and the romantic thing to do might to let him go out with one last world title run. But Bryan said in a recent interview he does not want to be in that world champion spot. I mean, he's got a family, his kids are getting a little bit older, he doesn't want the responsibility, but ultimately, like, I think what is best, and I feel this is probably what Bryan wants. We'll see what Tony Khan wants. I think the best thing for AEW to do would be to have Swerve go over Bryan Danielson, further cementing your champ as a credible guy. And, you know, they're going to have an excellent match. You know, the two of them are obscenely talented. Bryan being one of the best of all time, no exaggeration, and Swerve got to be one of the hottest wrestlers going today. So I very much look forward to that. I think it's great how AEW's been able to refocus on storytelling. Dynamite had a number of I'm talking about the Dynamite from a couple days. Well, actually, today is Thursday, so from yesterday, had a number of great stories running throughout the program. The only match that felt totally random was that four-way. It was Ishii, Kyle Fletcher, Claudio Castagnoli, and Pac. Otherwise, like, it felt like every match on that card had a purpose. And of course, the end, they gave the main event spot to Willow Nightingale and Mariah May. And Mariah is of course very popular, and so is Timeless Toni Storm, her storyline mother, right? Her wrestling mom. Like, they had Willow come out and she was wearing that Owen Hart tribute singlet. I thought that was a very nice touch and all that. And the part of you like kind of thinks that maybe Willow is going to repeat, but I thought it was absolutely the right move to have Mariah May win that match, because instantly after Mariah wins that match, she goes up to the top of the ramp and she unstraps the belt that was hanging from the Owen Hart Cup, and she just clobbers Toni Storm with it. It makes her bleed, clobbers Luther, throws Luther off the stage. He goes through a table, takes the shoe, and just starts banging it into Toni Storm's head. Mariah May is instantly a massive heel because of the popularity of Toni Storm, and I think that is just so much more compelling of a story going into All In than just the, student versus teacher. Can the student outshine the teacher once? Oh no. Mariah May can be like, ha, I never needed you anyway. I was always better than you. I used you to get to this spot, and now I'm going to take everything from you. So I absolutely love it. AEW is like, they never really were nearly as bad as the internet would have you believe. I know it's popular sentiment to shit on AEW right now, but I think all the internet trolls are absolutely full of shit. I think the intrigue dropped a little bit around Forbidden Door time, but now that we're back in business, we're back to like your regularly scheduled program. AEW is doing an excellent job, and I'm happy to see it. I am, in my heart, always a challenger brand guy. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate WWE, but, I grew up as a WCW guy. And after that, I really appreciated TNA, and then Ring of Honor, and now AEW. So that is a perfect segue into my next topic. John Cena announced at Money in the Bank that after 2025, he will be retiring from in-ring competition in the WWE. And I'm not gonna lie, that it hit me in the feels a little bit, and I say that as somebody who has never really been a John Cena guy. And when I say that, I am absolutely a big fan of John Cena, the human being. I think he just seems like a very genuine, high character individual. But the John Cena, you can't see me, never give up, never quit, rise above hate, hustle, loyalty, respect, that just, I am a 38-year-old man. I'm a metalhead. I'm jaded. That doesn't appeal to me. It seems very alienating to me. I was always I was a fan of the guys that Cena feuded with so much more than I was a fan of him. Edge is one of my favorites of all time. He had a massive feud with John Cena, which had Cena winning like 8 times out of 10, and that always used to piss me off. I was a big fan of Dolph Ziggler. He feuded with Cena. I'm not a big Randy Orton guy, but I'll take Orton over Cena. You know, most of the time, I would say I throughout most of their career, I favored Orton over Cena. Doesn't matter who you put across the ring from John Cena, the vast majority of the time, I was rooting for his opponent and not him. While the women and the kids were chanting, "Let's go Cena," I was there chanting, "Cena sucks," or CM Punk. You know, CM Punk was like another long time adversary of John Cena, and CM Punk I feel very represented by, and John Cena not so much. But it's still like there's no, like, Cena started to grow on me a little bit after he stopped being a full-time competitor, because there's no denying that his wrestling got a lot better as time went on, and like when he stopped being so violently shoved down our throats, it was, kind of nice to see him from time to time, and he'd just drop in and drop out. But like Cena to me is just emblematic of the aspects of WWE that I have never particularly appreciated. Again, being a WCW guy, being a big AEW guy, Cena is just the PG, white bread, good guy, polished, babyface that has never really resonated with me. And for the longest time, Cena was so synonymous with WWE, and a Cena-like presentation was so prevalent in what the WWE was presenting. It alienated me for so very long, to the point where only in the past year or so I have been able to fully appreciate WWE in ways that I don't think I was able to for the better part of 20 years. And I say this now because I think Vince McMahon, I think his creative ideas post Attitude Era, were largely terrible. I think WWE started to decline around the Invasion pay-per-view. I think I said that on the last episode of Nihilist Wrestling. That it was there was some great moments, especially, from 01 to 03, things were still fairly acceptable. But I think you get to about 04 on, and I think the bad largely outweighs the good. And I think there's still a little bit of that taint, in longtime fans like myself, when it comes to fully latching on to the WWE. But now I see Triple H is the main guy, at least on television, as far as running the company goes. It's Triple H and it's Nick Khan are the top 2 executives in the company. And Shawn Michaels is running NXT, and I am at my core, as you see in my background, I'm an NWO guy. But more so than even that, I am a Click guy. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Shawn, X-Pac / Six Waltman, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall are, all 5 of them are in my top 10 all-time favorites. So, I see 2 members of the Click, D-Generation X, who like my second favorite stable of all time, only behind the NWO, running WWE right now. And well, it's just to name a few things, like the Bloodline angle. That was started during the Vince McMahon era. But it was, but Triple H was head of creative, during most of that time. We're just take the Wyatt Sicks, for example. Like, Bo Dallas / Uncle Howdy has been absolutely knocking it out of the park. They have put blood back in the wrestling. They have put some more like violent matches back in there, the kind of raunchier stuff that got me into wrestling to begin with. It feels a lot better to be a WWE fan. You saw also, like, from the NXT Black and Gold era, I'm talking maybe like 2013, 2014 on, you've seen like indie guys succeed in WWE. I'm talking about like the AJ Styles, Kevin Steen / Owens, Prince Devitt, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, El Generico, just to name a few. Those kind of guys are now like the top stars when you never really used to think that they had a spot in WWE, and a lot of that has to do with the influence of Triple H. I know they're calling him Paul Triple H Levesque now. I get that. Since he's an executive, they want to work his real name in there. But it has really sanitized my enjoyment for WWE. Like, I don't feel quite as dirty being an enthusiastic supporter of WWE as I used to. And it's something like, after being burned for so long and having like the John Cena white bread generic babyface style of presentation force fed to us for so many years, it's kind of difficult to like bring, at least for me, to bring myself to give WWE a second chance. But John Cena's retirement, in a way, and it's not his fault. He like did what was asked of him, and he has said in interviews that he wishes that WWE like maybe made a little bit more mature content, but like John Cena's retirement really kind of seems to put the period on the end of the sentence of an era of WWE that maybe I don't appreciate so much. So, it's not that I want Cena to retire. Like, I wish he would hang on for many more years, especially now that he's not being force-fed down our throats. But just in a, I just, for lack of a better term, it just kind of feels like closure of an unfortunate time in WWE's history for no fault of his own. And that's about all I have to say about that. I'm going to double down on a lot of the things that I have been saying lately, because I think that the past few weeks have just kind of proven me right. I know, it sounds like I'm being narcissistic, I was right, blah, blah, blah. But, like, listen, Raw has been so good lately. Like, they have been doing such an excellent job. Like I just said, Bo Dallas is absolutely killing it with the Wyatt Sicks. Like, those promos are like, mwah, chef's kiss. They're cinema, magnificent. I couldn't, like, it was such a difficult position for him to be in, to form the Wyatt Sicks. And Zoe's head's blocking my shirt a little bit. Hi, Zoe, you were adorable. But yeah, it's such a difficult position for him to be put in, to properly pay tribute to his brother, and he is absolutely killing it. And the thing is, they're like just giving us little bits of the Wyatt Sicks, like every week, and like they're giving it's not like quenching my thirst. Like, I want more. I want to see more. But we saw on Raw, like, Bo Dallas was in Adam Pearce's office so maybe he has some ideas for their in-ring debut, and we all kind of wonder how that's going to look like. I saw Dexter Lumis has in that last little video package they did, like Dexter Lumis had dreads, and I know he doesn't have dreads in real life. I assumed it was attached to his mask, but I wonder if he's going to wear a wig of sorts or something like that, because he probably isn't going to wrestle with the mask on. But he looked badass. And then Joe Gacy, he's been growing his hair out and got his beard going. He definitely looks like a Wyatt family member. Eric Rowan, the OG, and of course Nikki Cross, Abigail the Witch, whatever we're calling her. Like, she's been scaring the absolute shit out of Michael Cole in recent weeks. It is so good. Every week, I can't wait to see what they do. But there's one thing in particular I really want to double down on. After what we saw, the Dominic / Liv Morgan Judgment Day story, and this also ties into Damian Priest and what he's doing. I am convinced that the Judgment Day needs to turn babyface. And I saw, after Rhea came back and confronted Liv, she seemed to be very, very angry at Dominic, and for good reason, after what we saw. And I saw they came out with a new shirt for her, and it said "Mommy's Back," and it kind of worried me because it wasn't in Judgment Day purple. They made it black and red, and I'm like, oh my god. They're gonna split at least Damian and Rhea off from the Judgment Day, and I cannot stress enough, no, do not do that. It seems like that's where the story may be heading, but no, because then what? Yes, Rhea is going to always be over as hell. There's no denying. Yes, Damian will go on, he's already had a really good title run, and I'm sure regardless of his status with the Judgment Day, he is going to continue to have a great title run, but I just worry about what happens after that. Especially to the remaining members of the Judgment Day. Here's what I say you do. If you did not watch my video on why the Judgment Day should turn face. So at the very end of Raw, we finally saw Dominic get that pinfall over his deadbeat dad that's been eluding him for a couple of years now. And it was Liv Morgan who finally made that happen. And Dominic, who has been resisting Liv's emotional bullying, and yes, that is what that is. Liv is trying to exploit Dom, who is very emotionally vulnerable with Mommy being away. And Liv finally started to be cracking Dominic, and you saw Dominic start to move his nose closer to hers, almost give her a little bit of an Eskimo kiss. And that's when you hear Rhea's music, and we think we know where that's going, right? Rhea says, "F you, Dom. I can't hang out with the likes of you anymore," and that would mean that Rhea or Dom would have to exit the Judgment Day. Dominic owes so much of where he is right now to the Judgment Day and what it has done for him. And Rhea, she probably would have got there on her own, but same with her too. You have an opportunity here to make the Judgment Day one of the most popular things on your television show. All you do is you have Dominic, after teasing for months now that he might eventually give in to Liv Morgan, he needs to stand firm, and let's say that Liv and Rhea have a title match and Dominic is ringside, and it looks like he might turn on Rhea and help Liv, but oh no, he does something that reaffirms his loyalty to Mommy. And what happens? Dominic turns face. Rhea's pretty much already face. Damian's pretty much already face. He is shaking Seth Rollins' hand and saying that he would go back on his stipulation and give him his rematch. Finn Balor is already obscenely popular. People don't want to boo Finn Balor, and JD McDonough is an obscenely talented guy that has just like... He's been booked in such an unfortunate way just to basically take falls for whoever the main people in the Judgment Day are feuding with. Like, people will get behind JD, especially when they see what he can do. As far as Carlito goes, like, they could go either way with him. It's like, personally, I think Carlito telling Dominic that like whatever Liv is doing is cool every week is one of my favorite parts of the show. Of course, you don't need to convince people to like Carlito. Carlito Caribbean cool is cool. He knows what cool is. But yeah, it doesn't matter which way they go with Carlito. He could distance himself from the group or stay with them. But with the circumstances they are dealt, the Judgment Day needs to turn babyface. Splitting Rhea and Damian off from them would be a huge mistake. Sure, the two of them would be fine, but I'm worried that Judgment Day does not recover from that, and it just has so much equity that they should not let it just go out in flames without getting everything you can from it. It would be like what happened with the Shield, like what happened with the Hurt Business. And sure, you could replace Rhea and Damian with Liv and Carlito, but you know it would not hit the same. So, do not break up the Judgment Day. Do not split Rhea and Damian from the Judgment Day. Turn them babyface, let them have their run, and see what comes out of it. And yeah, just go from there. But I like how like WWE has made it so where things have been kind of foreshadowed, or you've been led to believe that things are going to go a different way, and then the opposite thing happens. Like, for example, with Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker, it really made it seem like they were building Braun up to take the Intercontinental Championship and follow kind of like a Gunther-like trajectory. I think another example of what they did, that when they really kind of made you expect something was going to happen but didn't, is another example with Sami Zayn, where he beat Gunther at WrestleMania. I don't think we saw that coming. We're talking about like the Women's World Championship match. It really made it seem like Rhea and Liv were heading on a collision course going into WrestleMania, but no, they actually inserted Becky into the mix and had Liv get in there after, and now that's one of the most compelling programs like on Raw right now. So WWE has not like booking themselves into a corner in a way where their finishes or their storylines have been 100% predictable. So I really hope they are swerving us with this whole Judgment Day implosion, because it doesn't need to happen and it shouldn't happen. And that's my rant for now. All right. I'm going to stop talking. If you've got to this point, you like what I'm doing, please throw me a like and or a subscribe. I would appreciate that so much. But until next time, revel in what you are.